So this is the 500th video that I will have uploaded to this channel. And to be honest, that's a number that I've struggled to comprehend in some senses. I've struggled to fathom. In one breath, feels like it was just yesterday that I pressed upload on the first ever video. But on the other side, it feels like the last 10 years of my life, which it has been. It's been nearly 10 years of my life making videos on YouTube. And I just don't know, it's hard to think about 500 videos individually. I want to talk about that a little bit, talk a bit about, you know, the milestones that I've had, and maybe touch a little bit on maybe what the next 500 videos look like. If that's going to take 10 years, then it's going to take 10 years. But yeah, just a little chat. But if that's not your bag, then don't worry. I do have a really cool fuzz pedal that I want to show you when we could get back to the house. So if you want to hear some fuzz tones, stick around. So 500 videos, insane. I looked back a little bit on those earlier videos, and you can also do the same if you wanted to go back and look at some of the old videos. I'm not sure I'd recommend it. I've kind of looked back on the videos, looked at how I've changed physically. You know, 10 years ago I was 18, 18 going on 19, so I was kind of still a kid. Maybe I still am a kid. So, you know, I've changed in that sense, but also just my skills have changed, obviously. You know, those first videos were filmed either on my phone or a borrowed camera, and then sort of expanding my skills as a videographer, as a video editor, as well as a musician. You know, I've experienced a lot of great things in those 10 years through YouTube, actually. So obviously I've changed a little bit, my skills have improved, hopefully. And also I've been thinking about the milestones. You know, we can look at the milestones as numbers. You know, the first 10 subscribers felt like a real achievement. The first 100 subscribers still to this day probably feels like the biggest achievement. Getting to that first 100 was amazing. And then 1,000 was another great big milestone, and then it almost seems like it blurs after 1,000, if I'm honest. 10,000 was great, but I think once you reach 1,000, once you reach 10,000, you're always looking for the next one. That's actually a mindset I'm trying to get out of a little bit. You know, if I think about 500 videos and if I think about 500 videos and 16,000 subscribers, which we're on now roughly, do I wish I'd achieved more in that time with those videos? Yeah, yeah, probably. But I have to be realistic, and I have to be proud of myself of what I've achieved. This is something I built, you know, with help, but pretty much by myself. And I'm very grateful for everyone watching and who's decided to subscribe to the channel over those 10 years and 500 videos. Milestones. I mean, uploading that first video is a milestone, is an achievement. It's almost that it's the hardest video to upload, is the first video. The first pedal company to trust me with one of their pedals, to show off their pedals, that was a milestone. Working with the biggest companies in the industry, Fender, Boss, Ernie Ball, just to name a few, has been a real honor and kind of crazy, actually. But then in the same breath, feeling like you're making a difference to the smaller builders as well. Some of these ducks are dancing down here. They're like bobbing their heads. It's funny. Some of you may know that I worked for a couple of years as a video editor for an automotive Formula One YouTube channel. They were Driver 61 and Overdrive. I don't know why I struggled to think about that. Driver 61 I joined quite in the early days of that channel. Well, relatively so. They had about 200,000 subscribers at the time, and I was with them up until they had 1.1, 1.2 million. And same with Overdrive. We started that channel from scratch, and that got to 500,000 subscribers before we kind of all moved on to different things. And I learned so much during that time. That was a huge milestone, a huge achievement for me as a professional outside of my own stuff. But being able to make the leap back into full-time self-employment, doing my own stuff, is maybe the biggest achievement to date. Along with that came with some other stuff, some personal stuff. Started working for Thorpe Effects, kind of on a weekly basis, doing his social media content, which has been great to build that relationship with him. I now consider him a really good friend, and the working relationship is great. That's such an honour to work with him. I do a bit of teaching, a bit of lecturing, and funnily enough, I teach at the university that I studied at, and I teach video production to musicians and kind of music business students, which is crazy. Kind of a bit of a full circle moment. Not to mention that I got married at the end of last year, and yeah, I mean, if anyone says, should you quit your job, go full-time self-employed and get married in the same year, would I recommend that to anyone? Probably not, but we made it work, and it was just a magical, magical time, and it's been great ever since. I've also, my studio has changed a lot, depending on what house I'm living in. There's a plane going over. There you go. The studio's changed a lot, and that kind of brings me on to the next point, and maybe the beginning of the next chapter, and that is that I'm going to be moving house. Me and my wife, we're going to be moving house. We've been renting for the last 4 years, and as a tenant, as a renter, you are at the mercy of your landlord. And maybe unfortunately, maybe just bad timing, she gave us our notice to move out. She's selling the house. It's nothing that we've done wrong, it's just is what it is, it's life. So we're moving house, which comes with a whole host of stuff, as I'm sure you can imagine. Those of you who know me know that the timing could have been better with things happening. So yeah, with a new house comes a new studio, and that is something I'm really, really excited for, and something that I actually feel like I need. I'm under no illusion that I'm incredibly lucky to have a space in my house totally dedicated to creating music, filming videos, but to have a studio, to have an office, it needs to be efficient. It needs to make you feel creative, and if I'm honest, my office hasn't made me feel like that for the last year. So I'm really excited to start afresh, build a space from the ground up, solely with the purpose of making videos and being creative and making music as well, and getting back into practicing guitar, which is something I feel like I've not done in a long time. So moving house is, that's going to take a lot of my brain power over the next couple of months. We need to move quite fast, but things are in motion. We're looking at buying a house, which is really exciting. So hopefully things get moving, and hopefully we'll be in a new space come the summer. So what does the next 500 videos look like, or 10 years? I honestly don't know. And I'm kind of excited about the fact that I don't know or don't have a plan. And I'm hesitant to kind of commit to anything on camera, say what I'm going to be doing, because plans change. Plans have changed. And not always for the worse. Maybe this house move was bad timing, but in the same breath, it's a fresh start, and I feel like I need that. But I'm excited to make more videos, and I will be making more videos. I'm never going to stop doing this, because this is what I do now. This is my career. Rest assured that it's always going to be music, it's always going to be guitar, it's always going to be gear, because that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I love to make videos about. Things might change. I've been doing, basically the last 10 years have been 500 pedal demos. Maybe that will adapt into something else. I feel like I have more stories to tell when it comes to guitar and playing music, and I'm excited to try and get them on camera. I had a few points I wanted to cover, and then I kind of went completely off-piste and have no idea what I've said in the last 10 minutes. What a lovely day though. I hope you've enjoyed coming on a little walk with me. Maybe it's time to go back to the house. I'll show you this fuzz pedal. Thank you, all of you, for your support over the last nearly 10 years. Thank you for watching 500 videos, and you know what? Here's to the next 500, or wherever it takes us. I'm yammering on now. I think that's everything. Let's head back to the house and play a fuzz pedal. Okay, so this was the pedal I wanted to show you. Now, you can see it's from NRG Effects. Neil is my guy. He makes fuzz pedals and overdrive pedals and gain pedals that I personally feel like really suit my ear. They always have, they always sound good to me. And this is a pedal that I didn't want to do a full video on because technically there is a video on this pedal on the channel already, but not in pedal form exactly. So this circuit is the same circuit as what was in that Jazzmaster fuzz circuit that I checked out from James Home of Tone. That fuzz circuit, I mean, it's cool having it in a Jazzmaster, but I've been wanting that fuzz circuit in a pedal for a long time because I thought it just sounded so good. Not fuzz facey, not tone bendery, but kind of in that realm still, but just has this sort of really spitty, modern vibe to it as well, that I really, really loved. So we just have loud and bias. Let's get it on the pedal board. It's going to be down here. You don't need to see it. It's the two controls. I'll tell you what I'm twiddling while I'm twiddling it. Okay, we're recording. Everything at 12 o'clock, bias and loud, both at 12 o'clock, sounds like this. Yes, that's what I want in fuzz. It's smooth, it's compressed, it feels really squishy under the fingers, reasonably high gain, but it just feels so good to play. The first thing I always do is back the bias down, because I do like the sound of a low biased fuzz. Kind of gets it a bit more gated, a bit more spitty. Back it all the way off, see if we still get any signal. Higher bias settings will allow you to roll off your volume knob a little bit and get some cleaner tones. That was just a quick look at the NRG Effects Fuzzer. I love fuzz. I think what better way to celebrate my 500th video than checking out a cool fuzz pedal. Speaking of which, thank you guys for sticking around for 500 videos. That's, as I said at the top of the video, it's hard for me to fathom. I can't thank you enough, really, from the bottom of my heart. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. It's going to be wild in more ways than one. Thanks guys, and as always, I will see you in the next video.